What is up, guys? It is Passion here, and welcome back to my coverage of E3 2018. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Bethesda conference. We're going to do a wrap-up of it. I'm going to go through everything that was announced, give my takes on it along the way, and we'll see. I'll give it a letter grade at the end, give you my most anticipated game of the show, and some honorable mentions as well. So without further ado, let's get into what happened at the Bethesda E3 conference. I'm so excited to get into this. So, we kicked it off with a We Are Bethesda Softworks sizzle reel, and it helps set up the theme of Create for the conference, as it shows how everyone at Bethesda was a part of making the games that we all know and love, not just the developers, working at their computers, the accountants, the chefs, the musicians, the phone operators, like, all of these people are essential to the development process, and it was just yet another heartwarming entrance to a Bethesda conference. I love when Bethesda gets the feels all going right before the conferences start. It's really, really awesome. So next we moved into some announcements from Pete Hines. He said he came on stage to announce that everything that just came on to talk about everything that Bethesda had done last year since E3 2017. He also said that Bethesda was now the #1 ranked game publisher in the world, according to Metacritic. And I love how he set up the announcement for Rage 2 by specifically calling out Walmart Canada for their big E3 leak that came out just a few days before E3, and that compromised, the big reveal of the game. And it was a super funny way to salvage the presentation and still make the presentation of Rage 2 interesting. So then of course that led into the theme song and gameplay trailer for Rage 2. It kicked off with the #1 party rocker himself, Andrew WK, coming out with his band to perform the game's theme song, Ready to Die. For me personally, it dragged on a bit too long, and I wish they didn't do the full song and just maybe did like a portion of it instead. Like maybe do like a verse or two, and then maybe a chorus, and then that'd be it. But they did the full entire song performed live, which was kind of dragged on a bit too long. But anyways. It was still kind of cool to see Andrew WK there. I kind of like Andrew WK a little bit. I'm not a super huge fan of his, but I do like him as a person. I like him as a musician, and it was cool to see him there. And after that, Tim Willits from id Software and Magnus Nedforce, I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name, from Avalanche Studios, came out to basically suck each other's dick for a few minutes and about the games each other have made. Before we got the new gameplay trailer for Rage 2. So this gameplay trailer, it basically set up the world as a post-apocalyptic wasteland that was destroyed by an asteroid. And it also introduced us to a little bit of the backstory of our main protagonist, Walker. And he is going to be the last ranger of the wasteland, and he will aim to avenge his parents who have died by fighting back against the mutant threat known as the Authority. So then we went into a gameplay demo for Rage 2, and we saw that in this gameplay demo, Walker was trying to retrieve an artifact that would help him in his fight against the Authority, and it also showed on screen that if you see any vehicle out in the wasteland, you can drive it. Anything with wheels that you see will be drivable in the game, which is cool. And the open world is entirely seamless. There's no loading screens. It's all fully integrated, seamless open world. So that's really, really cool. And I love how it was super funny how they introduced and revealed the collector's edition of the game. It comes with a singing wall-mounted head of one of the characters within the game world during the demo. So they showed the trailer for the collector's edition inside the gameplay demo, and that was kind of fun. Honestly, going into this reveal, I really wasn't all that excited for it. I never really heard much of a buzz about the first Rage game, and figured that this time around it would just feature more of that war porn stuff from 2016 Doom that I hated so much. However, I was really pleasantly surprised with this game. I think that since the gameplay demo was more focused on providing fun gameplay than making the protagonist out to be some kind of badass, then that was just a much more enjoyable pill for me to swallow, and I'm actually really looking forward to this one when it launches this coming spring. So next we went into some announcements for The Elder Scrolls Legends. and the community manager for Legends took the stage to announce that the game will soon be getting a complete graphical overhaul, and that later this year the game will launch on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PS4. And any progress you make on the current versions of the game on iOS, Android, and PC will carry over to the console versions when they launch. And then we got a kind of like a weird live-action trailer for The Elder Scrolls Legends, and it really wasn't all that exciting for me since it wasn't a trailer that really announced anything new. It was just a bunch of people playing the game and says, hey, the game's here, check out the game. It was dumb. But anyways, moving on to some announcements for The Elder Scrolls Online. So the game director for Elder Scrolls Online came out to talk about this game for a little bit, and he actually said that the game was named MMO of the Year for the third year in a row, so that's really good on them. And he announced that the next DLC for the game was going to be called Wolf Hunter, and it would be centered around werewolves, which is kind of interesting. And finally, later in the year, players will get a new story DLC called Murkmire that will travel to the Argonian homeworld and will be chock full of new lore about the fan-favorite race that I know fans have been really, really desperate to find out about. So, from there we got a trailer for the latest expansion, The Elder Scrolls Online Somerset, and it featured a recap of all the previous ESO expansions before finally showcasing some of the new things that were in the Somerset expansion that just recently launched. Although this wasn't really exciting enough for me to actually get me to go play the game. Next was a pretty awesome reveal. We got a cinematic teaser trailer for Doom Eternal. And this is going to be a direct sequel to 2016's Doom reboot. And it will let players experience Hell on Earth for the first time while controlling an even more powerful Doomslayer while they fight twice as many kinds of demons. So if you're a big Doom fan, get excited for Doom Eternal. No release date, but it is coming soon. And actually, if you want to know more about Doom Eternal, the full reveal for the game with all kinds of new info will happen at QuakeCon in Dallas this August. So look forward to that. Next, we got some announcements for Quake Champions, and the community manager of Quake Champions took the stage to talk about the game. Are you noticing kind of a trend here where they like to have the people come out on stage first? So it was announced that more Quake esports competitions will be happening at both QuakeCon and DreamHack Winter. Thankfully, they did not announce this through some dumb trailer like EA likes to do, so I'm happy they didn't do it that way. They also said that during the week of E3 this week, Quake Champions free-to-play version is getting a special trial that will that you can access before the free-to-play version even launches. And the best thing is that if you hop on and start playing Quake Champions free-to-play during this trial period, you will get to continue playing it even after the trial period ends. So you will effectively get an early release of Quake Champions free-to-play before it even hits the main store of Steam. So that's really, really awesome. And I did actually try this game for myself, and I gotta say, the game is stupid fun. Like, it has no right to be as fun as it is. I was really, worried when I saw the first gameplay of the game back a couple years ago that it was going to be way too hard for me to actually play and be good at, but actually it's pretty easy, and I've been having a blast with it, and I can't recommend it enough, so hop on this week and give it a try for yourself. And of course, then we got a new trailer for Quake Champions, and while it didn't really show anything new, it did help showcase the game's many interesting characters, which is one of the reasons why I was kind of so hyped to check it out in the first place, once this free trial dropped. So, next we got some update announcements for Prey. And they said that during the night of the conference, the game received a huge update, which included Story Mode, New Game Plus, and Survival Mode. And they also announced the new DLC Moon Crash, which also dropped the same day, that will randomize enemies, hazards, and loot each time you play. Of course, then we got a trailer for Moon Crash, and the trailer focused very heavily on the randomly generated nature of the mode by rewinding each time the character died to show something new happening. The song choice was You Spin Me Round by Dead or Alive, for some reason. I mean, maybe they were going for the whole, oh, the random nature of the mode is disorienting, like being spun around on a record kind of a thing, but that association was kind of a stretch to me, and it just made the song choice seem kind of silly, just to me. But anyways, that's the new DLC for Prey. It's out now. If you have Prey, go check it out. And the final Prey announcement was that a new game mode was coming later this summer called Typhon Hunter, and it would be a 1v5 multiplayer match with one player hunting the other 5 players, which would play as mimics. And of course, being a mimic, those players can disguise themselves as objects around the world to avoid detection. So basically, they just ripped off Prop Hunt and Gmod. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. That's a really awesome game. I'm just pointing out the obvious there. So from there, we got a trailer for the standalone expansion Wolfenstein Youngblood. So this standalone expansion will let you play as BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters in 1980s Paris as the Blazkowicz family continues their fight against the Nazis. And yes, the expansion will be playable in co-op. While the trailer was kind of short and light on some of the major details, it still did look pretty interesting. However, if I am going to play this expansion, I'd like to at least experience Wolfenstein 2 before I pick this standalone expansion up. Even though you don't have to have Wolfenstein 2 to play this, it is standalone, I would like to experience that game first. Next, we went into some announcements about Bethesda VR, and we got the next 3 announcements from Pete Hines. He said that Typhon Hunter in Prey would be fully playable in VR when it launches, and there will also be a new Wolfenstein VR experience in the works called Wolfenstein Cyberpilot that will also be coming soon. Next, of course, we got the big in-depth reveal of Fallout 76. So, Todd Howard took the stage to give us the big in-depth reveal of Fallout 76, and after a few really great jokes about like the history of E3, he was like, okay, I know you're all here for one thing, where we're going to put Skyrim next. And that, of course, that led into the reveal trailer. Can't believe this is a thing. It went into the reveal trailer for the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, very special edition. And Keegan-Michael Key was in it for even more comedic effect, which is awesome. I love that guy. And yes, Bethesda has gone and ported Skyrim to Amazon Echo. I thought this was just a joke video. Like, I thought this was just a way to poke fun at all the re-releases of Skyrim that they've been doing. But no, this is a real thing you can really install right now on your Amazon Echo device. So if you have an Echo device, just enable this skill at the link in the description. I'll put it in the description. And just say the command you see on screen. I don't want to say it out loud just so I don't trigger your device. So just enter the command you see on screen, or say it out loud, and if you don't have an Echo device, you can actually still play this on the Amazon app on your smartphone by tapping the little circular speech bubble icon in the right-hand corner to summon Alexa, and once you do, just say the command on screen, and it will take you to the skill page to install. Once you have it installed, say that command again, and you'll be good to go play in Skyrim. It's super weird. Okay, so then we went into the actual Fallout 76 in-depth reveal. And as I said before in the Xbox wrap-up, Fallout 76 is a prequel to the entire Fallout universe, and it is 4 times the size of Fallout 4, and takes place in West Virginia in Vault 76. So from here, they just kind of replayed the same trailer that they showed at the Xbox briefing, so I won't really talk about that much here. If you want to see my thoughts on that trailer specifically, you can go check out the Xbox wrap-up that I did. But after the trailer, we do get into a little bit more detail about the game. So, Vault 76 was built to celebrate America's bicentennial anniversary in the year 2076. And you have been selected as an occupant for the vault, and will live up the next 25 years of your life waiting for Reclamation Day, which is the day the vault door opens. So your character ends up waking up late on Reclamation Day, long after everyone else has already left into the wasteland, and you yourself will leave the vault, entering the wasteland for the first time. So the game will feature brand new lighting, rendering, and landscaping technology, allow for 16 times the detail as Fallout 4, which is really awesome. And you can even see like distant weather systems across the map if you're high enough, which is really interesting. So you will receive quests from the Overseer that will see you traveling across 6 different regions in the game. They didn't give any detail about what these regions are, they just said they're kind of unique and varied. And there are, of course, lots of new Fallout robots and creatures, some of which were influenced by actual West Virginian folklore, which is really interesting. And the big difference between the other Fallouts and Fallout 76 is that this time the game is multiplayer and entirely online. However, don't freak out, the game will totally be playable solo, though teaming up with other players is strongly encouraged. There will also be a story to experience as well, leveling up to do, quests to complete, just like any other Fallout game you've ever played. So the game will feature what Todd Howard called softcore survival, meaning it's not as hardcore as some of those other survival games you have out there. Death will not mean the loss of progression or your character. And servers will actually be hidden from the player and will only be populated by about a dozen players at a time. And even in later interviews, they said, don't even really think of the game as really having any servers. Because they're kind of handling that all on the back end, and it's not like, your character or whatever is tied to a specific server, and if you migrate servers, that's going to go away. No, it doesn't work that way. It's all in the same game. Everything works. Everything is, as Todd Howard likes to say, it just works. So don't even question it. So progression actually will cross over whether you are playing solo or in co-op. And from there, we went into some gameplay of Fallout 76. Accompanied by some really well-made Vault-Tec instructional videos, which I thought were really cool. And in the world, players can choose to be hostile to you or be friendly, and you can do the same to them. The settlement system returns from Fallout 4, but now you are no longer restricted to an actual settlement location on the map, and you can actually build wherever you like in the world, as well as be able to actually move those settlement structures to wherever you want on the map as well. Via the new camp tool. So the game will feature a new photo mode as well, which will allow you to take pictures of yourself or with your friends at any time. And this is something really, really big. Players will actually be able to launch multiple nukes upon the map. They say that this is going to be really hard to do, so it's not going to happen all the time. You're not going to be constantly dodging nukes, but you can launch nukes in this game. And to do this, you have to obtain a complete launch code with parts of the code being scattered throughout the entire map. And again, this is 4 times the size of Fallout 4, so they're scattered all throughout that huge area there. So if you don't have all the keys yourself, you can actually try to find friends who might have some of the missing parts of the launch code that you don't have. And once you do have the entire launch code, you can head to a missile silo somewhere on the map, and then launch the nuke wherever you want on the map. And launching these nukes will affect the blast zone heavily, basically making it like a mini glowing sea. If you've played Fallout 4, you know what that's like. And you'll have the ability to collect rare items here from anyone you may have killed in the area, as well as loot them off of mutated glowing creatures. So the game will have dedicated servers that will be maintained for years to come, so don't worry about that. And there is also going to be a beta for the game. I believe you get access to that if you pre-order, so look out for that. Next, the Collector's Edition was announced, and probably by the time you see this video, I'm assuming it's probably already sold out. The Collector's Edition will include a map of the game world that glows in the dark, which is really cool. 6 Fallout plastic figurines, a wearable T-51 power armor helmet with working headlamp and voice modulator are in there as well. So that's the entire package. Like I said, I imagine it's probably already gone by now, but that's really, really cool. And then finally, it was announced that the game's release date will be for November 14th, 2018. So from there, we got an anniversary announcement for Fallout Shelter. It was announced that to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of Fallout Shelter, Todd Howard said that the game is actually hitting the PS4 and Nintendo Switch that same night. And it would still be free to play, so you can play that right now if you want on PS4 and Nintendo Switch for the first time ever. Next, we got into an announcement for their next mobile game that they were working on, The Elder Scrolls Blades. So this will be a brand new Elder Scrolls first-person RPG with console-quality graphics, and it will feature both handcrafted and procedurally generated dungeons. It will be playable in both landscape and portrait mode, which is really nice. And there are 3 modes in the game. There's Abyss, which is an endless dungeon crawl, Arena, where you will battle other players 1v1, and the Town, which is a vast hub world area where you can take on various story missions and quests, and you will play as a member of the Blades, which are the Empire's top agents. And you will return home after a long exile to find it destroyed, and you will need to rebuild it. So they'll have a whole, town management aspect in it as well. And yes, friends' towns will also be able to be visited. And the final announcements for the Bethesda conference was that Bethesda's first new IP in 25 years was announced, and that is called Starfield. So yes, prediction came true. Starfield will be a next-generation single-player game. We saw a logo reveal via a short little teaser with no real gameplay or game cinematics. And finally, we closed out the show with another logo teaser for the game fans have been patiently waiting for and begging Todd Howard to talk about for at least the past 3 years at least. And that is The Elder Scrolls 6. So yes, they've finally begun work on it. It's finally coming. They say that first they're going to work on Starfield, and then they're actually going to start working on Elder Scrolls 6. But that is the roadmap for the years ahead. It's actually been said that Elder Scrolls 6 will probably not be out on PS4 and Xbox One. It'll probably wait to get out until the next generation of consoles after the PS4 and Xbox One. So we're probably not getting it in the PS4 and Xbox One's lifetime, but the generation after that we will see Elder Scrolls 6. So that was the Bethesda conference. I kind of ran through it kind of quickly because it is kind of late and, people are going to be going to sleep pretty soon. I don't want to keep anybody up too long, but that was the Bethesda conference, and if I had to give it a letter grade, I would give it a letter grade of a C. So I was really deliberating on whether to make this a B or a C, but I went with C because while most of the announcements were decent, only about 2 games really got me really excited to play them, and still, the excitement wasn't, so over the top. It wasn't like EA, where the few announcements they did have that I really liked were so amazing that it just propped up the entire conference for me. It was definitely a better showing than they had last year, and was still a fairly positive showing overall, but it really wasn't all that amazing either. It was just acceptable and average for an E3 conference. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing spectacular about it either. So my most anticipated game of show is Fallout 76, and it was a huge toss-up about whether I should put Fallout 76 or Rage 2 here, and initially when I was first watching the show, I would have been more inclined to say Rage 2, mostly just out of the fear of the unknown when it came to Fallout 76 and this brand new nature of this new title in a series that I love. But after watching that entire Fallout 76 segment again for writing the script, I kind of allowed myself to relax a little bit more and really put myself into the shoes of someone playing this game, and I realized that it was still probably going to be a lot of fun anyway. So that's why I picked Fallout 76. And my honorable mentions, of course, have to be going to Rage 2. The gameplay demo succeeded where Doom failed, at least in my opinion. It looked really awesome with brutal action without coming across as really too macho or immature and juvenile. So I'm actually pretty hyped for Rage 2 as well. But that is my wrap-up of the Bethesda conference. So remember, guys, to keep a watch on both my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel. Keep watching for more coverage of E3. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.